Hey guys, I'm starting this channel called Simply How, and it's super basic. Basically, it's simply how anything works. So, for example, like an engine. How does an engine work? Okay, so my job is I try and figure out how it works and create a super simple teaching method on the basic operation of how something works. So you guys come up with an idea, comment to let me know what video I should create next, and I'll try and do my best to figure out a simple way, a visual way that you guys can learn how something works. So let's say, for example, a hair dryer. You want to learn how a hair dryer works. You know, you're sitting there blowing out your hair one day and you're like, I wonder how this works. Oh, well, maybe I'll comment that and Abe's can make me a video to tell me how that works. This is something that I found very hard to understand, but it is stupid simple, and that is two-stroke engines. Simplest engine out there, pretty much, common everywhere, but it's actually surprisingly hard to explain. Basically, two-stroke engine, I had a hard time understanding the simplicity of it when you have an intake port, you have a transfer port, and you have an exhaust port. The exhaust port is here. As the piston rises, it creates a vacuum inside of the crankcase. This fuel-air mixture gets sucked into the crankcase and surrounds these bearings for the crankshaft. This is what lubricates the bearings inside of the crankshaft. Now, fuel alone is not sufficient enough to lubricate. This is why it's very important to mix gas and oil together to run in two-stroke. When this piston has reached top dead center, this spark plug's job is to ignite. It's a spark. It ignites the fuel-air mixture inside of this cylinder head. This creates a very fast burn, driving the piston down, back downwards. That's what creates the power inside of the engine. As the piston continues down the cylinder, it opens this exhaust port. Now the cylinder is exposed to the outside air, which allows exhaust to escape. This fuel-air mixture that originally got sucked in from the intake port now is getting compressed. As you can see, this is closed off. This piston has closed off this cylinder, this intake port. In case there's nowhere for this fuel-air mixture to go except through this transfer port. Now, this transfer port is what allows this fuel-air mixture, after it's lubricated the bearings, to come up to the top of the engine and get burnt inside of the cylinder. So you have your intake, lubrication, transfer port, fuel air coming up here into the cylinder. The piston rises, compresses that fuel air mixture, spark plug ignites it, drives the piston back down, exhaust is created, and exhaust escapes out the exhaust port. That's the basics of a two-stroke engine. Very simple. No oil system, no valves. The only thing that we could add in here, and these get more into high-performance two-stroke engines, quite often there will be, especially in dirt bikes, there will be a reed valve here. And this reed valve is basically a piece of plastic. And this piece of plastic allows the fuel air mixture to go in, but it cannot escape. So, as this piston is slapping up and down very quickly, none of this fuel air mixture that's lingering down in the crankcase is able to get back out of the intake port. So that's the basics of a two-stroke engine. They can either be water cooled or air cooled. Air cooling is very, very simple. It's just fins on the outside of the cylinder. Airflow goes over them and cools the fins. Water cooling is more of a complex system. It has vanes inside of the cylinder, then connected via hoses to a radiator. This radiator cools, then the cold water is sent back into the engine. But it's more of a complex system. It's something we could go over in a different video. Anyway, that's it for this today. If you guys have any requests or anything you want me to expand on here, you can comment or let me know. Also subscribe so you don't miss anything.